clique whose dancing wasn't good enough outside of church. That's how it felt. She'd been praise dancing for years and was good. Still, it hadn't gotten her into the school's talented and gifted dance program. Now Mila and Mo were going away for 3 weeks to dance, and Sheeda was bursting with whys. Why hadn't she been good enough to get into tag dance? Why hadn't their dance teacher from the rec center at least recommended her for the summer intensive thingy? And why in the world had she been stupid enough to admit how she'd felt to her aunt? Auntie Dee wasn't having any of her whining. She'd put her hands on her slim, barely there hips and said, "Rasheeda Tate, listen to yourself. The Bible says, but each person is tempted when they are dragged away by their own evil desire and enticed." Sheeda had wiped her face of any expression. Her aunt paused, just enough to let the Bible verse sink in. That's from James, 1st chapter, 14th verse. If he wanted you in that school program for dance, you would have gotten in. Nothing good is going to come from you wanting something that wasn't meant to be. Usually after a lecture, Sheeda thought about doing better. Not that time. Evil desire. Really? She'd been dancing at church forever, and everybody swore she was good. But now suddenly wanting to dance was evil? She'd almost said as much to her aunt. Instead, she'd quietly muttered, "Yes, ma'am." There was no point. When Deandra Tate's mind was made up, it was a wrap. With no alternatives for summer, Auntie Dee would 100% fill any free second Sheeda had with church. And Sheeda hated that she didn't have any choice in it. Hated it like a chair scraping across the floor. Hated it like when the teacher volunteers you to read something out loud because she can sense you don't want to. Hated everything about the never-ending schedule of choir and praise dance rehearsals, youth activities, Bible study, repeat, repeat, repeat. A stony pebble of annoyance lodged in her heart at the thought of being stuck the whole summer inside the walls of First Bap, where the bright red carpet made the pews and pulpit look like they floated on a river of blood, and there was an elder around every corner wanting to ask how your grades were, like they were going to tutor you on the spot if you said you were failing. Sister Butler plunked away at the piano, warming up her fingers. Squeals of laughter came from the back of the church, where the 5th graders were playing some game that consisted of them racing up and down the pews. Never mind that running in the sanctuary was forbidden. 10-year-olds had a way of making the best of being in church. First Baptist was her second home since she'd moved in with her aunt. 6 years ago, her, Yola, Keita, and Jalen were the only kids in the whole church. The First Bap Pack, Sister Butler had named them. They all knew what it was like to be the entire choir and youth ministry. She should have felt closer to them. Honestly, the 4 of them should hardcore be a clique by now. If 5 years at Bible study, youth nights, and vacation Bible school didn't make you close to somebody, what did? Rasheeda was still trying to find out. She liked the First Bap Pack, but calling them friends felt like an exaggeration. Even a lie. All total, there were 20 kids in the choir now. Most were 5th graders. Sheeda had loved choir and running the then brand-new church's halls when she was that age, too. Now, at 13, it wasn't the same. Maybe because they couldn't be all wild like the 5th graders anymore. Or she stopped herself from even thinking it, because she was ready to think hate again, and if she didn't know anything else, she knew sitting in church thinking about hating was wrong. She mentally blinked the word away and focused on Yola and Keita, pretending to be going over the lyrics for today's songs. Sheeda knew they were really looking at the text Jalen had sent to Yola. Jalen stood on the alto's side by himself. Eventually, she, Carlos, and Anthony would join him. First, it bothered